Peace and welcome, ladies and gents. I'm the Super Gamer, and welcome to another episode of the Super Gamer Reloaded. This is the show where I re-review all 40 games for the first two seasons of the Super Gamer, because those reviews suck, and they are severely outdated.
Super Mario Bros. 2 is well known as the black sheep of Mario games. Mario 2 can actually be an entirely different game for you depending on where you live. In Japan, it's an extremely difficult game with levels cut from the original game, and in the US, it's a Mario ROM hack of a game from Japan known as Doki Doki Panic. Now, this was my second ever review back when I had that disgusting baby face, so yeah, I don't like that review at all. And just like last time, I'll be looking at the Mario All-Stars version for this review. So how well does Mario 2 USA hold up? Let's find out. This is Super Mario Bros. 2 USA. Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Toad are all having a picnic when suddenly they find a cave with a long staircase. They climb the staircase to be transported to a magical kingdom known as Subcon, which has been taken over by the villainous frog, Wart. It's up to Mario and friends to travel through Subcon and put an end to Wart's evil doings. The story for Super Mario Bros. 2, much like its predecessor, has an incredibly simple story, only this time with less murder and instead a hilarious and infuriating ending. If you've played this game before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Regardless, Mario 2's plot does its job fine enough. Now obviously, since this is the All-Stars version and not the original, it's going to look different. Regardless, Mario 2 is a great looking game. The sprites and the backgrounds are something to be admired here, and the music is also really good. Though it is my least favorite in the original trilogy. Don't get me wrong, it's still a great soundtrack, but my personal tastes just point me towards Mario 1 and 3's soundtrack a bit more. Nevertheless, Mario 2 is a great game aesthetically, but how well does the gameplay hold up? The American version of Mario 2 plays almost nothing like the original. Mario 1 was a game all about platforming your way through levels. Mario 2 does still do that, but in a different way. You can now stand on enemies' heads, and the only way to kill them is by picking them up and throwing them off of a cliff or at other enemies. See, there are plants that you can pull out in this game, and they can pull out things like projectiles to throw at enemies, or stopwatch to freeze everything in the tracks. Mario 2 also has you traveling not only horizontally, but vertically as well, as you can now climb ladders, vines, and chains. Not to mention, Mario 2 has 4 playable characters: Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Princess Toadstool. Each character has different strengths and weaknesses to make them more than just alternate skins. Mario is the balanced character, Luigi has a higher jump and is my least favorite to play as because of how slippery he is, Toad can run fast but can't jump very high, and then we got Princess Toadstool, the most overpowered character in a platformer. She may not be able to run as fast as the rest, but she can float, and she can use that float to make ridiculous shortcuts in the levels. It's essentially a godsend to use Peach for a majority of the game, as she's the most useful. Now for some of my issues with this game. As much as I love Mario 2, I'm not exactly the biggest fan of its level design. Again, it's not necessarily bad, but to me it's not as fun as Mario 1. I can't really describe it, it's just something about the way the game plays that I don't really care for. It also doesn't help that the bosses are also so uninteresting in this game. Sure, Mario 1 only had one kind of boss, but at least it took some careful positioning and timing to beat. Mario 2's bosses, although a lot more varied character-wise, are some of the most uninteresting bosses I've fought in a long while. Super Mario Bros. 2 USA, although I like it a lot more than the Japanese version, it's also a game I don't find myself revisiting very often. It still is a great game, don't get me wrong, but this is definitely my least favorite in the original trilogy. I'd rather play Mario 1 at least 3 more times before ever playing Mario 2 again. I'm going to give Super Mario Bros. 2 USA a 4 out of 5.
Until then, I'm the Super Gamer, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye!